Welcome to Kenya's finest. I'm Mr. Bruce Michael Bongo, senior intellectual. I'm the lead of Kisumu Activists Association, and we just want to unpack the recent developments that we've had in this country. You see, right now, I could only do a summary with only two events. The first event, remember that immediately after Jomo Kenyatta and Jaramogi Oginga Odinga parted ways because of ideological differences. That was the last time Kenyatta ever set foot in Luo Nyanza. And when he made the mistake of coming again in Kisumu, immediately after the assassination of Tom Mboya, we had bloodshed. That is number one. Number two, I would want Kenyans to know that Moi frustrated his vice president called Josephat Karanja for so long. He frustrated Josephat Karanja more of like the same way Gachagua is being humiliated today to an extent that Karanja was sent to his early grave before his time. What does this tell us? I will talk of the first thing called timing. I do think the timing was very wrong, and I do think that there's some level of restraint that needs to be exercised. I also feel that excesses is becoming too much, and that there needs to be some paragons from the head of state. Well, it is understood that both the National Assembly and the Senate have done what it is they deemed necessary. But there are some mistakes done by both houses, and I will mention them. Number one, the National Assembly failed completely with this case on the grounds of public participation. The National Assembly did a public participation that was a sham and a charade. You could not, it is not just possible for someone to accuse you falsely before the National Assembly, and the same person is given powers to go and canvass your removal with booklets in his own constituency where he was elected, and is the one working to ensure that these forms are filled in cahoots with the employees of the CDF in the respective constituencies. We all know that the staffs at the CDF constituencies hold brief for the legislators. The same legislators decided to crucify Gachagua unfairly in the August House. How then did you expect any fairness when it comes to uh, trying to converse on the people to vote yes or no towards the impeachment of the deputy president? It's just not possible. That speaks to, conflict of interest. It's just not possible. I mean, why do we have to embed public participation in our constitution if we do not have the acumen to ensure that it is done purposefully? I think this goes to the Mount Kenya MPs. Mount Kenya MPs, you are the majority, but your numbers are meaningless. You've taken a leaf from the Mulembe nation, which at one point was having too much of numbers, but very insignificant because they throw their numbers to every basket. But today, I will tell you that Mount Kenya, Mount Kenya has really done what it is that we don't even understand to date. You cannot come guns blazing against your own. Your home is always your, stronghold. What you've done today is that you've opened your doors to intruders of these times. It is really not going to be very possible. And one thing that the Mount Kenya MPs, one thing that they must know, all the Mount Kenya MPs that decided to impeach Gachagua, all the Mount Kenya MPs and all the Mount Kenya senators, if you know you supported the impeachment of Gachagua, let me tell you the things that are still there ahead of you. You have a long way to go. And if you are not a donkey, then expect a break in your backbone. Let me tell you, you've got only two major roles now moving forward as a Mount Kenya member of parliament. Number one, make sure that you make the ground resonate with William Ruto all the time. If you are an MP of Kiharu, make sure everyone in Kiharu is supporting President William Ruto. If you are an MP from Laikipia, from Muranga, make sure the whole county where you come from is actually supporting William Ruto. The other thing that you have to know is that ensure that the area where you are representing is yellow. It is Rutonated. It is UDA zone. How you are going to do it, Mr. Member of Parliament, is up to you. If you cannot get enough crowd to move around with you, then pick on your own children or your siblings. Because that is now the game on the hill. And William Ruto is not ready to get it from any other person, any excuse. That will not work. If you thought that by, pulling out Gachagua would mean the end of your duties, then you've just started. You have just started. And remember that we have a number of 3 more finance bills to be passed. We know this administration. William Ruto has made you betray your own son. William Ruto has made you kick Gachagua home. And it is very sad right now that the son of Madeira, who was donated to support William Ruto to get into his presidency, has today been delivered back to the same Madeira as a wounded gentleman, an Osmanli who is even bedridden, who was impeached on his hospital bed. Just know that there are lots for you to do for the Kenya Kwanza regime. Right now, you'll have to go back and you really have to go and titillate a little bit and know that the then president Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta told you the reality. I can see this is a rigged game. This game was rigged a long time ago. This game was rigged in 2020, not even 2022. It was rigged in 2020. Your then leader, Uhuru Kenyatta, saw it. He warned you. Nothing happened. Right now, the same thing is happening. Someone is helping you to lynch your own son. Now, what we saw transpire before the before the Senate was really, really, really important. One thing that you have to know is that the Senate, or rather the Senex, meaning seniority. Now, the Senate composed of Senex, the populace there, they tried to follow into the footsteps of what the parliamentarians did. Indeed, it was quite sad that Rigathi Gachagua was taken ill, but I equally feel that it was the best kind of a defense by Paul Muite. I think if we put the two senior counsels together, James Agri Orengo and Paul Muite, in as far as their presentation were at the Senate, I think it will only be fair to give it to Paul Muite, because it is only Paul Muite who became very wise and then leisure to come up and realize that this is a political come legal process. As Orengo was on a wild goose chase on what is called a political process, I was shocked if a lawyer who is coming from a camp that is headed by James Agri Orengo can rise before the Senate and tell senators that the impeachment motion before them is not necessarily does not really necessarily require any type of a proof, and that it should not meet the bar in terms of beyond a proof beyond reasonable doubt, and that claiming that the matter is just but political, putting a nail on his coffin, claiming that the parliament is purely independent. Independent from who? A learned friend, a learned person who should know exactly that that the Constitution is supreme above any other law. It is more supreme above even the political party manifestos. Cannot come and argue as a pedestrian by the roadside that the only thing that they had to do is just to allege. And that one actually informs the reason as to why Mutrise or Mutiso, the mover of the motion, was actually not composed when he was presenting his case. In fact, to me, that was a great embarrassment to the people he is representing in parliament. Mutise himself went there and said that it is not important for him to prove. Him, his only role was just to come and bring allegations, 11, and see which one the senators will choose. I mean, have we come to a banana republic where in Kenya today, if you hate me, you hate my principles, you can just come and drum up charges. And when you're asked, you say that it is not important, it's not that necessary. It's not a must that you prove. The only thing that is a must for you is to get the two-thirds. So let me ask you, even if we use that type of a law in Kenya today, that so long as you get you get some quotas that can really support you and make you clean, then this is the way to go. I really think that we are really missing it today.